Today's video has some wonderful stories about horrible entitled parents from the Entitled Parents feed at entitledstories.com. We're an auto repair shop, not a babysitting service. I'm a mechanic by trade, and have been for the past 15 years, but last week was the first time I've ever seen this level of entitlement. So, I thought it belonged here, never thought I'd actually get a story worthy enough to put here. Obviously, in the shop we see a lot of people trying to haggle and devaluing our skills. That's pretty stock standard kind of stuff for us. If you know type. Pretty regular Tuesday. I didn't have a specific job posting for the day, so was helping out the front with appraisal, out back with things that didn't take much time. Pretty normal when the boss just wants an extra pair of hands to help with miscellaneous stuff. I'm basically the tuick here. I didn't see her come in, but a good workmate of mine did, and apparently, she was fairly normal. Dropped off her car for general maintenance, hit her mileage, awesome, easy job. Boss called me out to move her car from the front car park to out the back. I got busy talking with a different customer in the waiting room on my way through to get the keys, so it took me 15 minutes give or take to even get to the car, which is usually no biggie. The customer was long gone by the time I got to the car, which is the point here. But of course, this wouldn't be Entitled Parents if that was all. I grabbed the keys from the reception and head on out to move this car. Now, it's not a hot day, but warm enough that I'm not wearing a jacket in a place that is pretty cold this time of year. I get there, open the driver's door, and I'm met with a child in the back. This kid jump scared me. She was buckled into her booster seat and just sitting there looking at me. She was maybe 4, give or take. Not old enough to leave in a car alone, that's for sure. I didn't even know what to say to her and nearly ran back into reception. They had no idea she was in there either, and Jenny, name changed, took her out of the car and brought her in. There's a coffee machine in the waiting room that also serves hot chocolate, and she got one for the kid and sat her down near her. We were both baffled as to why this woman had left her with us. I matched the number plate to the phone number and called her back while Jenny entertained her. She didn't pick up any of the 9 times I called. I checked my phone record just now to make sure I really did do that many. In the end, I took the car out the back for the boys to look over. Just over an hour later, she came waltzing through the door asking if her car was done yet. I couldn't believe the audacity she had. I'm paraphrasing here, but essentially, I asked her why she left her child with us, and she said she meant to, that she needed time to herself, and that we should be grateful because she's a wonderful child. If she's so wonderful, why the hell did you need to make us your babysitters? The shop is not the right place for a child to be, especially seeing as none of us really had the resources to look after a child. I told her she was lucky we didn't call the police on an abandoned child. At this point, my boss, who had been informed of the situation but was in a meeting with a potential buyer, came out to deal with her, after hearing out altercation. He relieved me and Jenny of our babysitting duties to go on lunch break. From what he told us after, she's banned for life from the shop, and she defended her choice to leave the kid with us. I didn't think there were really nutters like this in real life, but I tell you what, this past week has changed my mind. Entitled mom demands I let her son use my generator to play Xbox. We recently had some storms which led to a Karen encounter I won't soon forget. In order to understand the gravity of the situation, it's important to know that my elderly mother lives with me. She's very sick and requires medical devices to keep her breathing. I have a small gas-powered generator that I use in emergencies to keep her medical equipment running. The equipment has a 30-minute battery backup, and for anything longer I need the generator. The generator can keep the equipment running as well as run a few lights in the house. It's not super powerful but does what it needs to do. Recently we had some really bad storms and it knocked out our power. I did what I always do when that happens, and I fired up the generator. It's gas powered, so I need to put it in the backyard away from the house so we don't die from the fumes. As it gets dark, we're settling in for the night when we hear a knock on the door. It's Karen. Do you have power? She asks. I see your lights are on. I tell Karen, no, we don't have power, they're being run by our generator. Ooh, says Karen. Can my son borrow your generator? He needs power. I'm thinking maybe her son has a medical condition or something where he needs the generator too, although I can't let her borrow it because otherwise my mom's machines will stop working. Karen says, my son needs the generator to play Xbox. He has a big Fortnite competition scheduled in an hour and he would be really crushed if he couldn't play in it. Now that I know her kid isn't in any danger, I explain to Karen that 1, it's my generator, 2, her son can't use it to play Fortnite, and 3, it's keeping my mom alive right now. Karen begins to get belligerent. My son needs to play Fortnite, he's in a tournament. Sorry Karen, that's not my problem. But my baby needs his Fortnite, Karen screams. At this point I've had enough. I tell Karen to get the hell off my property in my best firm voice. Fine, I'll leave, but you're ruining my baby's chances at being a champion, she says. I don't care in the slightest. About 20 minutes later, I hear beep, beep, beep from my mother's room. The medical equipment has switched over to the battery backup. I rush outside to see if there's a problem with the generator, when I see Karen and her son trying to wheel my generator out of my backyard. I yell, "What the hell are you doing?" Karen and her son freeze like deer in headlights. Karen whines my baby needs to be a Fortnite champion. I push Karen away from my generator and try to get my generator started again, but it won't start. Karen's broken it somehow and it's too dark for me to see anything to fix it. Now I'm panicking because my mom has about 25 minutes of battery backup left before her machines stop working. I think Karen saw the panic and anger in my eyes, so she grabs her son and makes a dash for her house. I'm messing with the generator, trying to get it started. Somehow Karen has flooded the motor. If I can't get it started before the battery dies on my mom's equipment, things will get bad. Luckily 5 minutes later the power is restored. After checking on my mom, I call the cops and they dispatch an officer to Karen's house. I go over there and meet the officer and explain to him that Karen was trying to steal my generator. Karen says, "I wasn't stealing it, I was just borrowing it so my baby could play Fortnite. It's not a big deal." I scream it is a big deal. My mom needs power to survive. Without it her medical equipment won't work. You could have killed my mom. Karen says, "Your mom has to be 90 years old, she's past her expiration date, don't you think?" That has me seeing red. I want to punch the vile Karen so bad, but the cop, sensing what I was about to do, puts his arm on my shoulder. The cop grabs the Karen and places her under arrest. As he's reading her the Miranda rights, Karen makes a run for it. Unfortunately for her, this officer was a K9 unit. As Karen is running down the block he screams, "Stop, or I'll release the dog." She didn't stop. I've never in my life seen a doggo run faster than that K9 dog. I could tell that dog really lived for the chase. Long story short, Karen gets one nasty dog bite and a free pair of bracelets. Her son, the Fortnite champion, also gets taken away as he's old enough to know that stealing is wrong. I'm going to file for a restraining order against Karen this week, so hopefully once she gets out of jail I never have to interact with her again. Entitled Mom Lets Her Toddler Ruin My Brand New Car. This is the story of how one entitled mom let her toddler ruin my brand new car. The cast. EM, entitled Mom. EK, entitled Kid. ME, who else but me? So, I had just bought a brand new Toyota Camry in beautiful white paint. Where I live it is townhomes, so everyone parks either in their garages or in their driveways and they're really close to each other. I park in my driveway because my garage, single car, is full of stuff. I come home from work one day to see Ek on his front porch coloring. Normally I don't pay much attention to the little crotch spawn. He's usually indoors when I get home so our paths don't cross much. He's about 3 or 4 years old and I don't really like kids much, so usually I just ignore him on the rare occasions I do see him. I don't think much of Ek coloring on his porch. It's such a nice day I decide to go for a walk around the block. As I come home, I see Ek standing in my driveway. As I get closer, I can see he is smiling. He says to me, "Car pretty?" I say to him, "Yes, it is a pretty car." Then he says, "I made car pretty, see?" That is when to my horror I look at my car and I see he has drawn all over the side of the car with permanent marker. Black marker, brown marker, red marker, yellow marker, blue marker, green marker. Nearly every color of the rainbow is right there on the side of my car. I ask him, "Where is your mommy?" He says, "Mommy inside." So I take him by the hand and take him back to his house, where I knock on his door. The following is the conversation I have with his mother. Knock knock knock. EM, ugh, who is it? It's almost dinner time, what do you want? Me, hi, I'm your next door neighbor. Your son was drawing on my brand new car with permanent marker? EM, well, why didn't you stop him? Me, what? I did, but he did it while I was going for a walk around the block. Why weren't you watching him? EM, I had to cook the chicken, I figured he would be fine outside by himself. Me, he's 3, maybe 4. You can't leave a kid alone that age outside. Someone might take them and they can get into trouble, like your son did with my car. EM, oh, I'm sure you're over-exaggerating. He couldn't have done any harm to your precious car. Me, yes, he did. He ruined the paint on my brand new car. I expect you to pay for the damages. He didn't ruin your car. If anything, he made it better. White is a boring color, my baby made your new car unique and pretty. Me, I don't think so, and I expect you to pay for the damages. I didn't do anything wrong, so I won't be paying. Me, yes you will, one way or another. No I won't, now get off my porch. Me, am not going anywhere. Yes, you are. Get out of here, leave me and my baby alone. With that, slams the door shut. I regret that I didn't have my foot in the door to keep her from closing it. Now I have to contact my insurance, who will pay for the repairs to the paint and go after for the damages. I also plan to clean out my garage so I can start parking in there, since her little crotch spawn can't let me have nice things. My kid really wants a secret photo of you. This all takes place before COVID. I'm an avid convention goer. I've been going for the better part of the past decade, and cosplaying for half of those. I've gotten my fair share of weird looks and catcalls, but this one took the cake. The past few cons I've been more emboldened to be vocal against people trying to snap a sneaky picture of me, either with no ill intent or the dreaded upskirting. I'm not a fan of either, and it's pretty common now to see signs around conventions that specifically call out this behavior as bad etiquette. I was dressed as Cammy from Street Fighter. If anyone is familiar with her, you'll know it's quite a cold outfit. I was walking along the hallway of one of the exhibition centers, in between watching panels, and noticed a man and child following me. I just assumed they were going the same way as me initially, but they were so close behind me and something just felt off. The child in this situation was probably around age 7, and I want to say now completely innocent in this situation. I started slowing down hoping they'd leave me alone, but they did too. Soon enough he pulls out his phone and starts fiddling around, clearly trying to take a photo of my back. I stopped walking when he started snapping and turned my back to the wall so he couldn't see. He kept taking pictures, but now it was less focused on my behind. I called him out on this, and I'm paraphrasing, but it went something like, "Hey, you should ask before taking photos, I could pose instead. It would make a better photo. You wouldn't stop for me. Have you even asked me? No, I know your type, you wouldn't even give me the time of day. Besides, you're my son's favorite character." The kid was looking at his father blankly. I don't think he even knew who Cammy was. Either way, you need to ask permission first. Didn't you see the signs? This is a public space, I can take as many photos as I want. Well then you won't mind if I notify con security? He then rolls his eyes and wanders off. I did end up finding security and gave a description of him. There was later an announcement on the convention's Instagram that he had been banned from all their future events, and apparently was a repeat offender. Small wins. Like today's stories? Read more at entitledstories.com and submit your own stories too. You might see your story in a future video.